What's up, sports fans? Welcome back to the next podcast of Sports Talk with Hawk. I am Hawk, and it is an absolutely gorgeous Monday evening heading into the first night of the week for me. And honestly, a pretty interesting opening weekend with the preseason. Honestly, I like what I saw from most of the rookie quarterbacks. And the rookie quarterback in New England may not be Drake May. Now, I think this is for lack of a better term, I think it's a massive misunderstanding of what Drake May is. I still, to this day, believe the Giants with Drake May, Brian Dable with Drake May as the future, would work well. I think Drake May needs to be coached up. As you guys know, I like the offensive coordinator. Be that as it may, Joe Milton is a lot like Anthony Richardson for the Colts. The raw talent, the raw arm power is there. Um, but it's whether or not he can refine it, get accurate, not throw lasers 5 yards down the field. I still believe Anthony Richardson has a ton of growing to do. He still is basically a rookie, hasn't played a full season. I don't think he ever will play a full season. I don't. I think the way that he plays, he's way too reckless. He's immature. Maybe as he gets older, he'll get a shot, but he's already going to be so injury prone. I think it won't be any good anyway. But nonetheless, the happenings of today, teams are asking the Patriots about Matt Judon, which they should. Patriots are a rebuilding team. They are not a team that's going to compete this year. If I'm the Patriots, I'm trading Judon if I can get a first out of him. Go for it. If I can get a second and a fifth, absolutely, I'm taking it. Teams are also potentially going to start talking to the Jets, another AFC East team, about Hassan Reddick. Now, that one, I don't know. I'm not sure if he's really, and for Philadelphia fans may disagree, but I don't know if Hassan Reddick is really the game changer this early in the season. I don't know how many teams are going to trade for him. I know you could get him traded at deadline time when you've got the top teams that are willing to shell out some picks for players to make that final push. I don't know right now with his contract. I don't know right now how many teams are going to be interested that truly want to give up part of the future for him. So we shall see what happens. If first week is down, heading into week number 2 of the preseason. All right, let's just jump right in. This week we are going to be doing the AFC South, and we got the AFC North done, the NFC North, and like I said, I do want to get through these. So we've got this week is heading into week 2. Next week we're heading into week 3, so it's lining up pretty good. But I need to get through 2 divisions a week to be able to make this work, to be able to have the right after week 3 preseason is up, to be able then to go straight into the straight football talk as we get ready for the season opener. We get everything done. I do my official standings, put those out there. I do some of my over-under predictions for wins, put those out there. So we're going to see what transpires. But I want to get through a couple divisions. Basically, I want to get through 2 divisions each of the next 2 weeks. And we're going to see how this goes. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the Houston Texans, my favorite team out of the AFC South as of right now on a player, a team level right now is definitely the Texans. Indianapolis Colts are my home team. It's who I love, it's who I support, but they ain't got a prayer. They don't have a prayer on the Texans. Let's run it. Let's run it. Let's run it through. C.J. Stroud, Davis Mills, Case Keenum, Tim Boyle. That's your 4 quarterbacks currently on the roster. Joe Mixon, the brand new running back that comes to town with Damian Pierce, Dara Abadzwe, and J.J. Taylor. Those are your 4 current running backs. Then we get into the wide receivers. Take a listen to this. Stephon Diggs, Robert Woods, Nico Collins, Noah Brown, Tank Dell, John Michie, Steven Sims, Xavier Hutchinson. Like, hello? Some deep wide receiver core right there. Now, they did have a ton of injuries last year, making it a deep wide receiver core, but they got them still. Still there. I love it. The tight ends, Dalton Schultz, Brevin Jordan, Cade Stover. And then your fullback is Andrew Beck. And they actually have a second one, Troy Hairston, as well. Laramie Tunzel, Blake Fisher. Those are your 2 left guards. David Sharp is also there. Kenyon Green and Kendrick Green are your 2 left guards. Juice Scruggs and Jarrett Patterson are your centers, with Chris Reed also there as a backup. Shaq Moore, Dieter, hang on. Let me see this here. Dieter Eisland is your right guard. And then Titus Hayward, Charlie Heck, and Cameron Irving are your right tackles. Your defense is actually a 4-3. This is the switch that they made with DeMeco Ryans. They used to be a 34. They were a 34 for a long time. Lovie Smith was head coach. They were a 43. Then they had McCauley, if I remember correctly, it was multiple one-year stints. Lovie Smith was the defensive coordinator for a long time. And the McCauley, I believe, which was a 34. And now DeMeco Ryans, which is back to a 4-3, which is what they ran in San Francisco. Their front line looks like this. Now, Danico Autry is suspended due to PED violations, whatever that is. Who knows? But nonetheless, so he is suspended. But right now they got Will Anderson Jr. with Derek Barnett behind him and Jerry Hughes. They just picked up the veteran. Then they got Mario Edwards Jr. and Khalil Davis as the defensive tackles. They got Fakasi, Valaruno Fatukasi, the defensive tackle, with Tim Settle Jr. as a backup to him. Then they got Daniil Hunter and Dylan Horton with Danico Autry currently suspended. Then the linebackers. This is where the underrated addition happened. They added Aziz Al-Shire, from I believe New Orleans, if I remember correctly. This upgrades, it wasn't the weakest part of their defense, but it upgrades now and gives them a really strong front seven. So the only question is going to be, can the back end hold up? Middle linebackers, Christian Harris. Then you got your right outside of linebacker is Henry Tutu. You got Deshaun Phillips, Neville Hewitt, Jake Hansen as the backups there. Then you go to the secondary. This is where, outside of one corner, Derek Stingley Jr., very good corner, love him, wish the Colts would have had him. Outside of him, they got a couple of questions. Jalen Petre, can he come into his own? That's the question. Jimmy Ward, can he play at a high level? Kwame Lassiter, that's the rookie out of Georgia. Then you've got Desmond King II as your nickel back. Now, the question is always going to be, who's going to come in after him? Will 4, 5, and 6 be able to play with 1, 2, and 3 or be interchanged enough to be competent? Well, they got uh, Jeff Okudah in free agency. They've got Eric Murray as a backup safety. They got Kalen Bullock as a backup safety, and C.J. Henderson now as a backup corner. They also have M.J. Stewart, Lonnie Johnson, and Mike Ford Jr. as well. So can they? Absolutely. Absolutely. Their kickers are Kyron Fairburn and Tommy Townsend. All in all, I love the Texans. Stingley may not be Darrelle Revis, may not be to the top echelon as a Sauce Gardner, but between Sauce Gardner, Derek Stingley, Patrick Surtain Jr., I like them as the face of the cornerback market. J.C. Horn as well down in Carolina. I like them as the current face of the guys that have been around 2-3 years now. The current face for the cornerback market. They're young, long, they play corner correctly, and I appreciate that. I appreciate how they play. And honestly, the only question I got is in the secondary. Can the secondary hold up for Houston? If the front seven annihilate them, the back four should have an easy time. All right, let's move on to next. The next one's going to be, let's see, which one should we do? Let's do the Jacksonville Jaguars, another team that I believe will beat the Indianapolis Colts this year both times. Because they just play us tough. They're bigger and stronger. It's never been about speed with this team. But Jacksonville is bigger and stronger, and they're just good against us. They started out with Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones in the trade with the Patriots, C.J. Beathard. There we go. You got 3 quarterbacks. Honestly, Mac Jones, I think, is in a really good spot to be able to be the competent backup he needs to be and potentially get another opportunity to start. Then you got Travis Etienne Jr., Tank Bigsby, Dearness Johnson, and Kalen Robinson. Then for your receivers, you've got Christian Kirk, Parker Washington, Gabe Davis over from Buffalo, Devin Duvernay, Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie out of LSU, and Elijah Cooks. I like the wide receiver core. They got 6. They got 6 that I like. Devin, I think, is definitely going to be the burner. But Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, Charlie Kirk. The reality is with Trevor Lawrence, he's only got about, I would say in most games that they win, he's only got between 240 and 275 thrown through the air, because a lot of games they win is because of the ground game being really good. So I'm hoping Tank Bigsby and Dearness Johnson can really help Travis Etienne out after this year. All right, the defense is a 43, and they are big. We got Josh Hines Allen with DJ Coleman backing him up. We got Devon Hamilton with Jeremiah Ledbetter backing him up. We got Eric Armstead with Roy Robertson Harris backing him up. Then we got Travon Walker with Trevis Gibson. And Rasheem Green is the veteran addition from the free agent market as well. Front line looks good. Front line looks really good. Linebackers look just as good. You got Alucon, the wonderful outside linebacker that just got the new contract. Devin Lloyd is your middle linebacker. Then you got a right outside linebacker of Chad Muma. Your backups are Ventrell Miller, Caleb Johnson, Yazir Abdullah. Your cornerback sitting on the corners. Now, this one, not going to lie, I got some questions about the Jaguars secondary. Their number 1 corner is Ronald Darby. That's their number 1 corner. Their number 2 corner is currently Monteric Brown or DeAndre Prince. Then they got Jerrion Jones as well. Their nickelback, Darnell Savage, which used to be a safety. Christian Braswell is the backup to him. Your 2 safeties, though, with the backups, I like their safeties. They've got Andre Sisco and Adrian Amos backing him up. Antonio Johnson is your free safety with Andrew Wingard backing him up. So all in all, it's okay, but I really question the corners. I don't doubt that the safeties are going to be where they're supposed to be. I don't doubt it at all. But can the corners hold up, or is this going to be a cover 2 team? It could be a cover 2 team. And we really just may have to wait to find out what they can do. Their kicker is Cam Little, and their punter is Logan Cook. All right, that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think we can do one more, which means I can do a Indianapolis Colts episode because I'm a Colts fan, and I'll just basically give you everything rundown of the Colts of the offseason. All right, so we're going to do the Tennessee Titans before we wrap this up. Tennessee Titans are predicted by many to have a really rough season. I don't know if they will or not. There are parts of this team that I like. There are parts of this team I don't like. Okay? The number 1 spot that is a question for many is the quarterback. They've got Will Levis, Mason Rudolph, and Malik Willis. Now, I will agree with everybody. Malik Willis is not a starter in the NFL, although I do think that if Callahan is smart, he will get Willis involved in gadget plays to take Levis out of there and give Willis the opportunity to just be a specializer and just open up the playbook for a young team. I think that'd be fun, and I hope that's what happens. But they have a running back that I don't know if he's a B running back, C running back. I just don't know. You have Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Hassan Haskins, and Julius Chestnut. It's not bad. It's not bad. I just don't know what their ceiling is if everything's speed. I know they're fast, but can they get the 3rd and 1? Can they get the 3rd and 2? Can you get the 4th and inches? That's my question. Their wide receiver core, Calvin Ridley, the big acquisition, Travion Burks, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, the other big acquisition, Nick Westbrook-Keene, and Kyle Phillips. Now, DeAndre Hopkins is already injured. Look for Tyler Boyd to fill in that slot until he gets injured, because he has been injured the last couple of years. I'm looking at Travion Burks and Nick Westbrook once again getting a lot of playing time behind Calvin Ridley. All right, their tight ends are Okawono and Josh Weil and Nick Vanette. Their left tackle, J.C. Latham, the rookie out of Alabama. Jerron Christian backing him up. Then you got Peter Skoronski, the rookie from last year. Andrew Ruppick backing him up. You got Lloyd Cushenberry as your center with Daniel Brunskill backing him up. Brunskill. Then you got, this is an interesting move. You got Dylan Reduns. Now, the thing about Dylan was this was a move to help shore up the offensive line. I would put him at a B-, C+ offensive lineman, but I think it may work for them. I think it may work. I hope so, because the right tackle, I honestly believe, has the most question marks as of right now. That is Nicholas Petit Fier. Friere. And I think that's probably the weakest side is going to be right tackle. They got Jalen Duncan still there as well. But I don't see the right tackle, and that's in Levis' face. To me, the right side of the offensive line is going to struggle. The left side with Latham and Skoronski is going to be very strong. Look for them to run left a lot. Look for the defense to load the left side a lot as teams want to stop the running game, because the only way to stop or to get this team into the weakest part of their game is to stop that running game. If Tony Pollard runs for 75 and Spears runs for 75 and Hassan Haskins runs for 50, you have a chance of losing to this team. They will be very run dependent on making sure everything works. I think the injuries hit the wide receiver core, but season's got to play out. It's already got one. All right, this defense is a 34. And I remember there were a couple questions about why they drafted, who they drafted, and stuff like that. Listen, this is a big defensive line. And I'll tell you why. Here we go. Defensive line, Sebastian Joseph Day, 293 pounds. Devondre Sweat, 330 pounds. Jeffrey Simmons, 325 pounds. Those are your three defensive linemen. Do you want to take those guys on? They're big. For sure, Jeffrey Simmons and Sweat will require double teams. These guys are going to be able to blitz. Sweat and Simmons will be able to stunt and use a lot of bull moves on those offensive linemen. So I do like the front three, the way they built it. Their linebackers, Arden Key, not bad. Rashad Weaver backing him up. Kenneth Murray, and then Otis Reese backing him up. Jake Gibbons with Chance Campbell backing him up. And then you got Harold Landry and Shane Ray as your right outside linebackers. Now, the question is in the secondary. We know L'Jarius Sneed is going to be good. We know L'Jarius Sneed can play. They got him from Kansas City, and it was a very, very smart move. They also got a couple other players. Tell me if you've heard these names. Jamal Adams. Guess what? He's their starting strong safety. Guess who's the backup? Quandre Diggs. Quandre Diggs is the backup safety for the Tennessee Titans. You have Chidodo Awuzie as your corner. Trey Avery is the backup. Caleb Fairley, who won't stay this low on the depth chart, I think will move up to fourth before the end of training camp. But those are your three left corners. Your right corners, L'Jarius Sneed, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., and Gabe Judy Lilly. Then you got Amani Hooker as your free safety, Elijah Molden as the backup. Roger McCreary is the nickel back with Eric Garner as the backup. Nick Folk is on this team currently as a kicker. Braden Newsom is Narvson. Interesting. Narvson is the backup right now. And then they also have two punters. So I guess they're just trying to figure out who's going to be best. Ryan Stonehouse and Ty Zetmer. Hey, works for me. Works for me. They struggle at receiver. Their secondary's older. They got L'Jarius Sneed. But he's really the only one sitting back there. Linebackers are middle of the pack. You could rank them between 12 and 16, and I probably wouldn't argue with you too much on it. They're young. They're fast. They got definite potential to really gel together and become a very cohesive unit. The front three is big. So if these guys can blitz, if the defensive coordinator can blitz, get these guys moving, I think it will work. All right. There's the Tennessee Titans. So we got 3 teams. We got the Texans, we got the Jaguars, we got the Tennessee Titans. All in 25 minutes. That's kind of what I was hoping to be able to do. And instead of running this podcast even longer, we're going to shut this down and I will do a Indianapolis Colts episode at the end of the division. So for right now, the AFC South is done. And we are going to move on to the NFC South in the next podcast, next episode. So this will work. Let's wrap this up then with a final thought. I'm also going to do a quarterback contract podcast potentially this weekend. It's going to be a special Saturday episode, so maybe I'll roll it into the Indianapolis Colts. But I want you to think about something right now. Of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, the ones that have made consistent playoff runs, the ones that have made championship games, are mostly in the bottom. I mean, you're looking at 8th or lower on the payment scale. And the other thing about that is you don't hear those guys asking for more money. Just the reality. Those guys are winning and they understand why. So as we close this out, I want you to think about something, and I'll put this in the Saturday episode for Training Camp Depth Charts about the Colts. This will be the second half of that podcast. But I want you to realize that the teams that are winning, the quarterbacks fully understand what their money can do to a team and for a team. And they understand what winning can do to a team and for a team. That's being a franchise quarterback. That's going to do it for me tonight, guys. That is it for me tonight. You'll be listening to this on Tuesday afternoon. So each and every one of you, I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. Hope to see you guys on, Wednesday, because we have Wednesday podcasts. I just can't get them out on Monday as easily. I'll be doing them earlier as the season gets in. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for the opening of the NFC South. We'll probably get the Panthers and the Saints done and rock and roll through there. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ring that notification bell so that you get notified every time a podcast goes live. Thank you so much for hanging out. This has been Sports Talk with Hawk. I'm Hawk, and I'm out.